I've got the spores, the sickness. There's the twins in my brain.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first What's Under the Hood podcast of the off season. I had to bring a special guest to the first episode, so I choose James, aka Jimmy Whelan, winner of the Queen stage of the Volta Portugal this year, and he just signed a contract for Q36.5. Welcome, Jimmy.
Cheers for having me on. It's nice to be back talking to you. We spoke earlier in the year, and I was telling you about what I wanted to achieve this year and to find a contract, and to be back pro next year is really exciting. So I'm happy to talk about how the year went and what next year looks like as well. So yeah.
Yeah, the dream you had when we were talking at the beginning of the year, that dream has come true. How did that come to that point? How did this year go? What made that you got a pro contract?
Yeah, I mean, when we last spoke, I had come across from the Australian Nationals, and I was in Europe riding around in old World Tour kit from 2015 and 2012, training up in Andorra, up at altitude, hoping that I would find a team. I didn't find a pro team as such, not at the Pro Tour or the World Tour level, but I ended up finding a contract with the Class Drive Q8 Anicolor, which was a Portuguese team. And I spent 3.5 months racing in Portugal, doing a few 2.1s. And the big dance of the year for me personally was always going to be the Volta Portugal. So many people are aware of this race. People call it the fourth Grand Tour. I was able to win the Queen stage on Senhora de Garcia. And from that, managed to find some paperwork and find a pro contract for next season, which, to be honest, is pretty crazy to be able to say. Like when I was up in Andorra training by myself, obviously I was always manifesting this, but for it to actually happen, it doesn't often happen. You know, you look at the statistics of guys getting kicked out of the World Tour, particularly non-European guys, where it takes more to stay here. The numbers and the odds are against me, but I'm pretty proud to be able to achieve it, and I'm really proud for the people that have supported me. So and thanks to yourself too for sharing my story earlier in the year, and all these things help. So yeah.
When were you first in contact with Doug Ryder? Was it already before the Volta Portugal, or did your performance in the Queen stage really take things up? Or
I think Doug was aware of my situation at the end of my EF contract, but obviously the team disappeared for a year, and then came back online as a Pro Tour team this year. So Doug had been aware with me with my previous agent, and I just obviously team manages the spot for choice with riders. So he didn't choose me for this season, but I managed to win this Queen stage with Volta Portugal, and also coming second in the Australian Nationals last year, and then winning the COVID Santos Festival of Cycling, the Tour Down Under, the GC and a stage last year. Got the attention of quite a few people that I'd spoken with previously, quite a few Pro Tour and World Tour teams, and Doug Ryder was one of those. So and I guess just his win in the Portugal put me on the short list for their final climbing spot, and by no means was it a ticket back into the team or a ticket to the team. I still had to make the long shortlist and then still get selected from that shortlist with various other good World Tour climbers who are out of contract. So I consider myself, obviously, you have to make your own luck, but I still consider myself lucky in order to have gotten this opportunity. So so there was previous talk with Doug, but I'm stoked to finally received a call 3 weeks ago saying that he was putting me on. So
but if you look at And what performance you did, we talked about it in at the end of 2021 in the Italian races, still getting good results while being a domestique. 2022 the Nats, the Tour Down Under COVID edition, like you said, all with really good watts too. You could literally provide those numbers. Yeah, it's crazy you even went out of World Tour or Pro Tour for a time. Like you always belonged there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess so. Guess my biggest problem was that I broke my pelvis and my shoulder on my contract here, and I just needed to keep keep at it. I knew that I had the legs, and I knew I got the head for the sport, and now I've got the technical skill and the passion and the understanding of the game that if I just kept at it for like financially, I could do it for another 2 seasons at the continental level, and then hopefully that I'll get the result that would bring me back up. And that's exactly what has happened. So, yeah, I think next year at Q36.5, it's honestly it's a career-defining moment for me. I will get a really good calendar, really good equipment, really good staff, good riders. Like it's everything that I've wanted. So, yeah, it'll be good.
So you already have some info about the calendar you will do in 2024.
Not quite yet. I think the racing finished 2 weeks ago, and the team has had a few meetings about what riders will go to where, and I'm just waiting to hear back on that. So, obviously, it's just a 1-year contract for me, so I want to make sure that I take every opportunity as if it's my last. So I would really, really love to be able to do the nationals and also the Tour Down Under. The team's not doing the Tour Down Under, but the Australian team is, and I'd love to get selected. So last year I couldn't do the Tour Down Under because I wasn't technically a professional, so I couldn't fit the criteria. Whereas this year I'm on the Pro Tour level, so I can get selected for the Australian team. So hopefully I get selected for that. I know the team will be doing the Saudi tour as well. So that would be a nice little block, but yeah, I haven't specifically thought or heard back from the team regarding my exact calendar, but I know, for example, in EF, they didn't have me as an expectation as a pure climber, but on Q365, they have the expectation of me being a climber. Not a pure climber, but yeah, they're certainly going to be sending me to the races alongside Mark Donovan and Damien Housen, and seeing what we can do in that space. And it's pretty exciting for me. So plenty of time training up in Andorra, keeping my climbing squeaky clean. And yeah, hopefully punching that result in a pro race against some really good bike riders just to show them back. So yeah, it's pretty motivating. Yeah.
Yeah, if you could start with the Aussie nationals, then Tour Down Under and Saudi Tour, that's already 3 really nice races to prove yourself for the coming years.
Yeah, it'd be the perfect chance, and maybe it'll look a bit different than that. So, and that's also fine. We'll just see. We have a training camp in December, and then also a training camp in January. So doing the Tour Down Under would clash with that. So I'm waiting to hear on what they think, and I mean, I first have to get selected into the Australian team, and then the team has to approve it. So there's still a few things to get through before I even start thinking about that. But it's just really exciting. Like next week I receive my bike, just just feeling like a pro again, and having camps coming up. It's really cool. It's like I'm a neo pro again. It's like all it's like I'm a 20-year-old kid.
So it's all starting again.
Yeah, and I think actually getting this contract and getting into Q365 is actually personally a lot bigger deal for me than having signed a 3-year deal at EF, because I actually understand what I'm signing, the opportunity that I have. Whereas when I signed at EF, it's not that I didn't appreciate it, I just didn't understand how I didn't understand the sport at that point. I was still so new. Like I still felt like I was more of a runner than a cyclist.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you're sure you'll do the Australian Nationals, but you're not sure you will do the Tour Down Under then, if I understand it right.
Yeah, so for example, we have a camp in December, and then we have the Nationals on the 4th of January this year, which is super early,
Yeah.
really early. And then we have a camp in January, which is 3 days after the Nationals. So maybe I just do the Nationals. We'll see. Maybe I stay in Europe for December, January, and go back to Australia to prepare for the Saudi tour, for example. But I'm not 100% sure yet. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's difficult to piece all these things together just based off the information that I don't have yet. So, if I do the Nationals, I think myself, Damien, and Cyrus will all be doing it. So I'll have some teammates, and I will be
Awesome.
racing a lot more reserved than normal. I won't be riding around trying to prove anything. I'll just be trying to prove something in the last lap instead of all 16. So
Because
yeah.
which year was it? 2021, I think, where you had the crazy power file and you just went nuts all day. No, 2022 was it? I think you
It was 2022.
literally went.
Yeah.
Yeah, was a crazy in like 40 degrees and a
Yeah.
crazy power file. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I went long, maybe too long, but I nearly pulled it off. We just had,
Yeah.
unfortunately, Luke Plapp was on good form, and I think he'll have a bit of an entourage behind him next year at the Nationals with Green Edge.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting how that plays out. Yeah. So yeah.
And you talked about the bike also. It's Scott's bike again, a Scott foil with zip wheels again for 2024, I think.
Yeah, from what I understand, the equipment sponsors are the same. I could be wrong, but I know for sure we're definitely on Scott foils. And from what I've heard, both inside and outside the team, the Scotts are really, really nice bikes.
Yeah, I also heard that. Yeah.
So yeah, like one of the best. So that's also really nice. We're also on Vittoria tires. So yeah, nothing to complain about, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
that's already great because sometimes yeah, if you have shit wheels or shit tires, yeah, that's already not a nice way to start the season with that in mind.
Yeah, no, the team has everything. Great clothing, great partners. It's really yeah, all I need to do is put myself up in an altitude, up in Andorra, ride some hills, and then get to the bike race nice and fit, and hopefully the rest just sort itself out. Yeah. So
The team also transferred some good names in for 2024. Like it's a team that's developing really fast. In my opinion, if you see the riders calendar for 2024, there's
yeah,
some impressive names on there.
yeah, they've signed Nizzolo too.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, that's the main
that's
one.
a
Yeah,
that's a big investment. Obviously, you don't win the European Championships by luck, I'll tell you that much. So
yeah,
obviously he's a
exactly.
very, very talented bike rider. And yeah, we've also got Rory Townsend too, who's recently signed on.
Yeah,
He's been at the continental level for quite a few years, and he's finally got that jump up. So it's pretty cool to see someone like him also get the chance. And yeah, I mean, last year, for example, Damien Housen had one of the and this year, this year, Damien Housen had one of the best years he's ever had,
yeah, it was really impressive.
which kind of shows the platform that they provide, and hopefully
Yeah,
I can copy what he's been able to do. And yeah, so yeah, and they've also got
podiums.
What was that?
He podiumed Burgos, I think, or just outside the podium with Roglic and Vine. He was really impressive there. I remember, and the watts were really high too in that race. He was fourth. Yeah, behind
Yeah, Damien
Roglic,
Housen
Vlasov,
and
and
Walter
Adam
both.
Yates. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Damien Housen, I think he also won in Asturias as well, earlier in the year in Spain.
yeah, the first stage.
Yeah. So the team, they
Yeah,
got 7 wins. They got 7 wins for the year, which for a brand new team is quite impressive, in my opinion.
yeah,
Um,
indeed.
I mean, they might still have some of the infrastructure from back in the day of Quebecer and Dimension Data, but it's, new people, new riders all getting together with new partners and to get 7 wins. It's good. So yeah.
And do you bring your own? No, you were training yourself, I think, this year. Or did you have a trainer?
No. So since October 2021, I have been my own coach. So more than 2 years now. So that'll be a big change for me, is having a coach. It'll be good. Yeah, we have a coach called Carlos who lives just outside of Barcelona, and he coaches Mark Donovan and Damien Housen, who have the same setup as me in Andorra. So yeah,
Okay.
I will fit into his coaching quite seamlessly, I think. So yeah, it'll be good. Obviously, I've been able to show the last 2 years that I can that my own theories and my own training is still provides high performance. So see if we can work together and put together some nice trainings. But hopefully next year, hopefully I'm racing so much that I'm just recovering and racing, as opposed to just training like I have the last few years. So yeah, hopefully it'll have a slightly different training dynamic for the last few seasons. Yeah.
If you were to do a Grand Tour in 2024, if you could choose one, which Grand Tour would you like to do the most?
I mean, we won't get a start in Tour de France, but it is possible that we
Yeah,
could get a start in the Giro or the Volta.
yeah,
I don't know which one's more likely, but for me personally, La Vuelta would be perfect. I'm really good in the heat.
yeah.
So that would be my chance. That would be a great chance. Whether it's next year or the year after or the year after that. But yeah, the Volta would suit me really well. Yeah.
And if you could dream a little bit more, there's a Climbers World Championship next year. Combining that with the Vuelta, how amazing would that be?
Yeah, it'd be pretty nice. We'll see. I'll have to just focus on my own riding. Now that I am in this, I can be selected for the World Championships now that I'm in the Pro Tour or World Tour. So yeah, hopefully I'm riding well and on the short list to try and get selected. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Back to your 2023 season, you were injured in the Volta Portugal, but you still won the Queen stage. Explain us how you pulled that one off.
Yeah, I came into the Volta Portugal in really good shape. Really good shape. I spent most of the summer training in Andorra and dropping down for a few races, and I had no problems. So I came into the race, yeah, and had a really good weight and just a really good overall health and fitness. So the opportunity was there to try and chase the GC. But in the end, I had a slight issue with my ITV on my left leg from a bike fitting issue, just from a new bike. Sometimes the smallest details can cause a bit of a hiccup, and I thought that was the end of my race. Twice I had to pull out of, basically the winning move. I was in a move twice with 5 or 6 guys, and I would have this leg problem, which has since been resolved post race, which is important to add. But it was just a simple bike bike issue causing a really, really tight ITB, and this caused tension along the outer quad into my glutes. So but on the rest day, I saw an osteo called Gabriel, the magician, and he managed to put the fire out a little bit. It wasn't completely resolved, but he managed to recover the issue a little bit, and enough to come into the Queen stage and to try and take the chance to win the stage. And I didn't really have the issue come up too severely, and I was still able to win the stage. I don't know the numbers that I was doing because I've got a left-legged powered power meter, and I actually turned it off because I didn't want to see the watts because of this leg problem that I was having. So, I saw the VAM and stuff, and it was still good. So and at the end of the day, the power doesn't matter. It's about getting across the line first. So, the amount of people on the finish on that day in Grassa was crazy. I did the Giro, and the crowds, it doesn't compare to the Giro. There was more people at this stage than the Giro. And the smell of beer was like being at the Oktoberfest.
Okay.
So
It's
I was able to win that stage, and I got like this really cool plaque to remember the stage. So that's really special. I've got it in my little cabinet here. I couldn't believe that I was able to win the stage, given 3 days prior I thought I was going to have to pull out of the race because of the ITB issue. If there's any kids watching, make sure you get your bike fit done properly, unlike me before a race. I made that mistake. So
yeah. And if you compare your what's on training, I guess you did some allowed efforts on training. How did you compare to your best watts in like 2021 when you were World Tour?
Yeah, so the watts have definitely gone up from 2021. There's a few efforts. It hasn't gone up by much, but my relative power fatigue has definitely gone up. So after a big day, I can hit basically PB numbers for half an hour, which is something I really could not do at EF. That's a reflection on my training, but also my reflection on my nutrition and understanding that side of things. So just understanding like I can do 120 grams an hour and have no gut issues in the heat. So there's doing 120 grams an hour for 5 hours in a normal race, and then there's doing 120 grams an hour for 5 hours in the south of Portugal, which is sometimes 46 degrees, so I managed. That's been a huge difference that I've been able to apply, and I've also been able to get my weight a little bit lower than what I was able to do at EF, for example. So for Volta Portugal, the climbs is so savage that it was actually really worth me trying to get rid of that extra kilo and a half. So I was able to race at 63 kilos, for example. And also my functional dehydration is really good. So maybe I was even lighter than that for the actual climbs. I actually don't know. Obviously, it's difficult to quantify that because, so as a result, my VAM has been a lot higher than normal. So I want to bring that into next year. And that's what's required at racing against the best. I have to bring that next year. So, But for example, some of the training that I was doing before the Volta Portugal really suggested that I was another step up and I could try and win the Volta Portugal. So,
And mainly the functional dehydration thing for me is pretty crazy. So you like lose a kilo of water in a race, and you don't or barely lose any watts.
Yeah, like I really noticed it at the nationals this year, for example. Like with fully I was like 66 kilos before the race, and then when I finished, I was 63 kilos. But so it's 3 kilos in water weight, I guess you could say. But my power was still really good. But it's not something that many people talk about. I don't think functional dehydration, but it's definitely a part of adjusting to racing in the heat and these things. So yeah.
I heard that Ineos tried to do it with Bernal, like purposely losing water weight to get him to lighter, so he could climb better, but it didn't work out with Bernal. So that's an advantage of being an Aussie, I think, being able to do something like that.
Yeah, but there's some Aussies who still can't hack it. I think it's I don't know if it's maybe a little bit genetic, but it could be also the fact that I do a lot of saunas in these preparations, a lot of hot baths, and I always like in Andorra you have the sunny side and the shaded side. I will always do my efforts on the sunny side of the hills, so it's hot. Small things like that that I was doing to prepare for Portugal, which made maybe like for sure there was fatigue, but my body wouldn't be ringing the alarm bells as much. But it's not sustainable doing this. This functional dehydration. You really are spending bullets doing that, so it's dangerous to do in such a long race. You're kind of flirting with your health a little bit in a high performance sense.
Like after a race like Aussie Nets, when you lose 3 kilos, do you drink 3 liters of water after the race before you go to sleep, or how do you refill those fluids?
I mean, you have to refuel. Like we had the time trial 2 days later, so that's why I had to do the post race on the scales just to see how much I'd lost and what I needed to replenish. Because I think that I got the carbohydrates right that day, and I got the consumption of water correctly. But I just had to replace it all in salt and water. But in the end, I actually took too many caffeine gels that day, and I couldn't perform well on the TT 2 days later. I didn't realize that the SIS nootropic gels had so much caffeine. And so that was my rookie mistake, and I was absolutely useless for the TT 2 days later. Yeah.
It's a pity because like normally also cyclists when it's like 40 degrees they don't take caffeine gels because that also boosts the heart rate a bit, but that wasn't a problem for you then because it went pretty well.
No, it was fine. I mean, a lot of that is just a reflection on me doing heat training as much as I could. So in Australia, instead of picking the nice shaded roads, I would just stay on the highways, baking in the sun. So it's a brutal way to do it, and if you can recover from it, then it's a great stimulus. But a lot of people can't hack it. But luckily, for the moment, I'm able to hack it. I don't know how long I can abuse my body for doing this, but it works. So.
Like I really can't handle the heat, and all the things you were saying sound like a nightmare to me. So
we're from different corners of the world with very, very different climates. So.
That's true. Okay, so looking forward to 2024, you're looking to if you get selected for the Tour Down Under, and if you can make an agreement on that with your team, you want to be in shape from literally the beginning of the year, and also in like Saudi Tour, that's end January or begin February.
Saudi Tour
also really early, I think.
It's really early. Yeah, I'm currently on Pro Cycling Stats. I'm trying to see.
It's 30 January to 3 February. So yeah, end
Yeah.
February until begin February.
Yeah.
And for Two Down Under, it's a good parkour for you. I saw they dropped the prologue and they added Walunga Hill back in. So that's pretty amazing.
Hopefully the Tour Down Under, if I do it, is really, really hot. And hopefully it's been really, really cold in Europe. And I can look good against the world's best climbers when they're not acclimatized to the heat. We'll see. Yeah.
All the Europeans will drop and Jimmy Whelan will conquer Walunga Hill. Would be amazing start of the 2024 season.
I'd probably have to try and get rid of Jay Vine and Luke Platt, which wouldn't be easy.
It's true.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Luke Platt hasn't been on form this year after the UE tour, but when the guy's in form, yeah.
When he's going good, he's going really good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Incredible.
And yeah, Jay Vine, we all know how good he can be. So yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the race calendar for the team, they do a lot of racing. They got a lot of starts this year that they weren't aware that they were going to get. And I'm just looking at all the races they did last year, and it's a really good calendar. So it's just endless opportunities if I can stay fit and healthy. Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, I spent a lot of this year just training and kind of washing away opportunities, and I was going good all year. So if I can kind of do a similar preparation and see what happens, I think it could be a really good year for myself and also for the team hopefully. So yeah.
Also really looking forward to seeing you race where you belong, to be honest. Like, yeah, if you can bring your top form to the Australian Nationals and to Tour Down Under, the year could start really well in your home country. That would be the best start imaginable.
Yeah, and I have a bit of a following in Australia over the last 2 years, just with the Nationals and the Tour Down Under from last year. So plenty of people are aware of my situation. So I've got some people in my corner, which would be really nice to try and do my best. It would be really cool, I think, to see an Australian national jersey putting it to the World Tour guys. There hasn't been in the Australian team. There's never really been someone up there on the GC recently. So it would be cool to fly that flag. So we'll see. Yeah,
it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Best of luck for 2024. I'll be following you up very closely for sure. And maybe we'll talk again next year if you have done some amazing stuff on the bike.
Yeah, maybe I'll see you at some of the races. Maybe if I come over your way, which could happen. We'll see. So yeah, hopefully we're checking in again with talking about my results for next year. So we'll see. But yeah, for now I just need to focus on the current, which is the pre-season training, and then putting together the first quarter of the calendar and seeing what that looks like, and going from there. Obviously, it's a balance of getting fit too early for the nationals and also prioritizing, the races in March and April too, which the team want to do well in. So we'll see how that dynamic goes. But it's all just about where I start my motivation, and I'm sure either options are a win-win. So yeah.
So it's also a possibility you're coming to some races in Belgium then, or?
I would really like to do it. I mean, my first pro win was in Flanders, so
yeah, and not a small one. This is the Ronde van Vlaanderen for U23, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would love to go back into those roads. Even though I'm a climber, I fell in love with those roads, and I've always thought that getting into a breakaway in, for example, the Tour of Flanders would be such a unique opportunity. And the team got a start this year. So, obviously there's guys on the squad who have the selection over me. They're the classic specialists, but maybe something happens and I get given a chance, and I would love to take that opportunity. But at the same time, I also need to focus on the real stuff for me, which is the climbs.
Yeah, you can use that U23 when that's a good one to own a place.
Yeah, exactly. Go back to my homeland.
If you are coming to Tour of Flanders to race here, I'll definitely be cheering you from the side of the road. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can see the trophy just here. This is the
Amazing.
yeah.
Just bring that trophy to the team camp, and your spot is for sure.
Oh, yeah. I don't think the older riders will appreciate it. It sits on a 23 race. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for the talk, and best of luck for 2024.
No worries.
I've got the spots, the